gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome to the best sports talk show anywhere. Sports Unfolded, Season 3, Episode 29, Trade Chips and Dips. I am your host, Eric, with my main man right over there. Ron, how are you tonight?
I'm doing okay, but I know the dips must be referring to who's running, the Patriots, the Bruins, the Red Sox.
Yes.
And the Celtics. And you can even probably throw in the New York Yankees if you're a Yankees fan.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that one for sure. We are a weekly sports podcast that talks about all of the top sports issues going on in the sports world this week. We are going to start off with our leadoff story, Ron, and that's the wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins making his decision to sign with the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, the New England Patriots, our local team. You got the hat on. I got them in my background here. Let's discuss who we blame for the organization not signing him. Who are you putting at the top of the list there?
Bill! It's Bill! This is nothing more than being cheap. That's what it is. It's being cheap. And I don't understand it. It's almost like being cheap, and his ego is just so massive that he thinks he can put together, anybody and make it work. Well, I'm sorry, but now, all those debates that we've had in the past about, was it Brady, Belichick? Oh, it's clearly Brady. Clearly. Like, I want Bill Belichick fired so bad right now. So bad. It's all on him.
Kenny still thinks Bill does a great job, and that's you got these rose-colored glasses of individual. Thanks for joining, Kenny. But I'm going to say this. I don't blame Bill Belichick. I blame Robert Kraft, and I'm going to tell you why I blame
because
Robert
he's still employing him.
Exactly. You're enabling this man to make decisions. My wife watches 600-Pound Life. And if you've ever watched that show, there's always that person like, I really want him to live, and I don't want him to die. And then they're out there buying him, everything possible and for them to eat.
Right.
This is what Robert Kraft's doing. Bill, we need to make the playoffs. Bill, we need to get talent. And then yet when Bill doesn't pull the trigger on anything, we just sit back and he lets him continue to do the same thing over and over again. This contract that he signed, 2 years, $26 million with $6 million in incentives, was not a deal the Patriots couldn't have afforded.
No.
When I read what they offered, it was basically about the same amount, but it was $4 million with $10 million in incentives. There is not a single player that's going to sign that deal.
No.
I don't even understand why you would offer that and think that you had a shot with DeAndre Hopkins at $4 million, and then he's got to hope he's the number one option, Eric, to get all these.
It's the perception. That's why they did that. They said, hey, we offered him the same amount of money, but he didn't take it with us. But that's the perception. They want you to think they really tried to sign him, but they didn't try to sign him. They knew he wasn't going to sign that contract. That's ridiculous to even think that. And, it's just that the day and age where everything is public now, the people find out and then they understand, Bill's being cheap again.
We've got to stop living in the past. Kenny, you can sit back and you can say I'm being disrespectful, and I understand what the man's done for the organization, how great of a dynasty we've had. But at the same time, it's like you're just sitting back, and that's what you're looking at is 4 years ago they were successful. And even that, if you look at when Tom Brady left, that team barely got to the playoffs, lost in the first round. They never built talent around him. he goes to Tampa Bay, and it started off a little slow, but you tell me where there was a Mike Evans on the New England Patriots for Tom Brady. There wasn't. They never gave him receivers. They didn't give him a solid running back. They didn't give him top-notch defensive players on the other side of the ball. And we're still doing it today. We're getting average guys who we expect to all of a sudden, time is on our side. I don't know what side you think it's on, because they're flailing. What are they doing? If Mac Jones doesn't look good this season, they are basically starting from scratch now because they got nothing to work with.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point we're gonna look and it's like he's had nothing to work with since he got here. He's had nothing to work with.
If I had to ask you, Ron, who's their best receiver right now on the team? Besides
Troy Brown on the coaching staff.
Right? So this is my point. You're sitting back and your time's on our side, or Bill's a great coach. He can only do so much. Bill, instead of us having 15 losses, he can get us to 10 losses and be 7-10 because of his coaching. But he doesn't have enough talent to win enough games to get into the playoffs with the roster he has right now. Can't live in the past. Got to look to the future. I agree with Eric. Thank you, Brian, for joining. We've got to change something.
Right.
And I'm telling you right now, it's not Bill Belichick. It's Robert Kraft and his mentality. He has to change and sit back and say, look, today's NFL, you sign a DeAndre Hopkins. Tennessee Titans do not have what the New England Patriots have to offer. They don't. I still think we have a better roster than them. That's not saying much.
Right.
Yet he chooses a team because, again, they're going to pay him to go there. You've got to pay them to come here. And he's not doing that. Leonard Fournette and David Henderson, they brought in a couple of washed up backs. That's your option. Not Dalvin Cook, who you know could still play today, but he's going to cost some money. We're going to look at the bottom of the barrel D-plus players, and hopefully one of them can have a decent season. What are they thinking anymore? The mentality is so twisted.
Eric, this is what I've been saying now for a couple of years. You know, it is time to move on. It's time to move on. You need a new voice in this organization. And I'm sorry, but Bill's time has come here. You know, it's no longer, he can just find somebody off the scrap heap and make them into a player. But he was able to do that because you had Tom Brady.
Yeah, Kenny.
I'm not diminishing the talent of Mac Jones, but he's not Tom Brady.
No, never will be.
I
want to ask Kenny this question because Kenny was saying Bill Belichick with Cleveland, Bill Belichick without Tom Brady. What's his record, Kenny? Because he's a 500 coach. And I'm not saying that's not good because, again, if you look at the talent that New England has, it's not very good. There's probably 4 or 5 players that you could even say are a top 20 AFC champs. Who was AFC champs? The Patriots this year. Kenny's he's been hitting the bottle today because there's no way if he's talking about New England that I can even take him seriously. The rest, I won't even put his comments on the screen anymore if he's going to keep talking this gibberish. They are the worst team in the AFC East. They are probably a bottom 5 team in the AFC altogether. I can name at least 10 teams off the top of my head that are far better than the New England Patriots. And that's with Bill Belichick as a coach because they don't have enough talent to win games. Robert Kraft has to eventually pull the plug on it, and he's living in the past too. You got to move on. Brian said it perfectly. It's time to move on. If Bill Belichick can't change, then you need to change Bill Belichick. And right now, Robert Kraft's that enabler. He's just saying, okay, well, Bill won 6 Super Bowls. Bill's the second all-time winningest coach in NFL history. That's phenomenal. That's great. And if you're going to tell the fans, we're just going to hang on till he wins 20 because then he breaks the record, at least we sit back and go, hopefully it's not in 3 years. Right? But if they win 7 this year, 7 next year, it means we got a 3rd year of just mediocrity. And just
that's not even mediocrity either. Eric, you're talking what, 7-11 or 7-10,
7
right?
and 10.
That's a below average team.
But in 3 years, we'll have the all-time winningest coach, and then we move on. At least tell the fans that's the plan. Because next year, they are the second highest with payroll spend. $85 million will be off the books that they can spend on free agents. Do you trust? I remember 2 years ago, Ron, we were having a blast. Remember, we were doing this show, and we're sitting back. They signed this guy. They signed that guy. They signed this guy. They signed that guy. They were all garbage. They didn't sign anybody that was any good. They signed guys, not superstars. They signed guys and hoped that those guys would go from a C player to an A player. And they're not. They stayed
that's
C.
not the way it works.
It did with Tom Brady. It doesn't work anymore. They've got to move. They've got to change something. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Kenny, if you think they're AFC champs, you've got to tell me the teams they beat, because they're not better than the Chiefs. That is a guarantee. Tom Brady's going to walk through that door. Yeah, all right, Rick Pitino. He's walking through Vegas stores right now because he's got money in that. He can't, I don't even think he could play for another team. He's got stake with the Raiders now.
Yeah, no, you can't now. You can't.
So I was so pissed. I didn't even put up the picture. That's how upset I was. Oh my goodness. Listen, I am not looking for, this is the first time I think ever as a Patriot fan that I am dreading watching games this season. I'm not even interested because I just know it's going to be a train wreck. We can sit back. Bill O'Brien's going to help the offense. That's great. You still need talent to make plays. And the best thing I was watching, it was on the NFL Network today, and they was just showing a play, and it had Brady and back when they played the Chiefs and went into overtime and won the game at the end to go to the Super Bowl again. And I'm looking at who he's throwing the ball to. You had Julian Edelman. Do you have a Julian Edelman today?
No.
Do you have a Grunk? He was throwing to Grunk.
Oh, God, no.
So that's what made a difference. You're sitting back now and you're going Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki. Those are your two tight ends. Do they scare you? Who's your slot guy? Kendrick Bourne? Does that scare you? There is not a guy that you could sit back on this offense and say, okay, I feel comfortable. You added a DeAndre Hopkins. All of a sudden, that changes the whole dynamic. Because now those guys will become from C to B players.
Yeah.
But now they're going to stay C players because they don't have somebody taking away something to make them better.
No, and it's like that throughout the whole lineup, right? You know, it's like they lose players and they don't replace them. And it's just, okay, we're going to hope that he can piece it together. You know, and that's all fine and dandy piecing it together all those years because you had a guy that can make those players better on both sides of the ball. You don't have that guy on both sides of the ball anymore.
I heard something on the radio today, and before we move on, Josh Uche had a great season last year, right? Double-digit sacks. But you start to look at it, what ended up happening was teams started to game plan for Matt Judon.
Yeah.
Which ultimately opens something up for the other guy on the other side because now he has more opportunity. That's where New England is going to struggle because they don't have guys that are going to, especially offensively now, that you sit back and say, okay, Kendrick Bourne's going to be open now because they're going to be focused on what, Tyquan Thornton, Devontae Parker. They're going to play those guys one-on-one because those guys aren't burners. They don't scare you, which means now you got guys that just can't get open.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. And this is why I say, you know, like, how do we expect Mac Jones to be able to have a good season when he doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to because they can't get open? And you're going to get this kid hurt.
Yeah, the offensive line stinks. They didn't bolster the line. They didn't bolster the wide receiver group.
No.
You got one player on offense, Ramondre Stevenson. That's a good player. I'm not saying he's great. He's good. He's your best player. He's your best. What are you going to just hand the ball off 700 times in the season?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But we
ridiculous.
picked up some running backs.
Yeah. Okay. If they sign Leonard Fournette or this Henderson kid, I'm gonna lose it. I am gonna lose
Wait,
it.
is that Dave Henderson from
the Red Sox? Yeah, Oakland A's days. Yes.
Yeah.
He's gonna get to bring his bat. Then we get an advantage.
Great.
We have an advantage. Let's talk some other NFL because I want to vomit right now. I can't. This is the most oppressing thing.
Come on, they're doing well.
Yes, okay. We're not doing any Patriot post game just because there'll be a lot of swearing. The Washington Commanders, Ron, they've been sold. Congrats, Magic Johnson. He's part of that organization. Is he part of the Harris Group? Oh, I didn't know that. That's phenomenal. Look at that. What do you think the NFL's expectation should be for this team going forward?
To actually be able to compete?
Yeah. That's what I said. Being relevant again, right? Because you think about it, they really haven't been relevant since the 80s.
No, this team has been horrible and horribly run and, frankly, run into the ground.
Yeah.
By
some
Snyder.
Stability. So is this the same group, Kenny? Do you know that the Dodgers, are they part of that as well? Because if they are, you think about what the Dodgers have done and the money they spend and the willingness to, obviously it's a different cap situation. Yes. Wow. So again, a well-run organization. You saw what they're able to do. The difference might be though with the NFL, you don't have the luxury of just spending as much as you want. Whereas in the, Major League Baseball, there's really not a cap.
Yeah.
So again, but at least we think stability wise, the way the organizations run, you don't hear a lot of negativity out of the Dodgers and that organization. They've been pretty clean and stable. A difference. I mean, Dan Snyder was just a mess. He was probably one of the worst owners of all time.
Yeah, pretty much.
And we could sit back and talk about Jerry Jones and some of those things. Jerry Jones just wanted to win. Dan Snyder, I don't know what that guy wanted. I just think
Jerry
he wanted.
Jones just thinks he knows it all.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's a big difference. Like, he didn't run the franchise into the ground because, the franchise is very healthy.
Yeah.
He just thinks he knows it all and, expects them to basically follow his directions in every aspect of the franchise, which is not exactly wise because you're the owner. You're not a football guy.
Yeah.
And I know he thinks he is, but
no, I agree. Look,
6 Snyder's just a scumbag. I mean, when it really comes down to it, he's a scumbag.
6.05 billion. That's a B, my friend. That's a B.
But
Dan Snyder just sold this team for $6 billion, dude. He just made $6 billion.
Yeah, he did. But you know what?
I'm sure he's devastated.
It gets him out of the picture. I may have lost his Christmas card, but I gain the Washington franchise Christmas card sent to me. Because I'm happy for them.
And Kenny nailed this. NFL's in trouble here because Dan Snyder they're saying this took so long because he wanted provisions in there because otherwise he was going to basically leak everything. He has dirt on all the owners. So the email scandal with the John Gruden thing and the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
He has a lot more. Right? Oh, yeah. He got fined $60 million. I'm sure that, again, he's still going to make $6 billion on this deal, but I'm sure there's something written in there that he can't release or do something because it was, you sure? I thought it was 60 million, Kenny. $60 million fine.
So I got a question for you, Eric. If Dan Snyder decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to invest in Sports Unfolded.
No. I wouldn't.
I'll throw $1 million in there.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I still have morals, and I believe that you treat people with respect, and that man never had an ounce of respect for anybody or anything.
There you go. See?
That's regardless. Like I'd rather be poor and this show just steady Eddie the way it is than to say, look, that's how I got to the top, because I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror. The man was a disgusting person. He treated women with disrespect. He treated the league with disrespect. He treated people with disrespect.
Right.
And
that's why I brought up the question, because it's like,
and I would say this, he ran that organization into the ground, Ron. He would basically do the same to us. He pretty much ruined us at some point.
This is true. You know, I'd be replaced by some scrub or something, you know, that is left over from ESPN.
Does that mean I still have a job, though? So you're saying he'd keep me? Why? Because I'm a scrub? I'm a little offended right now.
No.
I don't know how I take this.
You know, you'd end up getting stuck with like Max Kellerman or something.
I would not. Oh, I hate Max Kellerman. And hate's a strong word. I very strongly dislike Max Kellerman. Never liked that man. Ever since the Brady falling off a cliff thing, I've never liked that man. Because every year was like, well, this is the year. It's been 5 years, guy. Let it go. Just let it go. It's not, you can say it at some point, but it never happened. He didn't fall off a cliff.
You know, and you think about it, it really never happened, did it?
It didn't. It never did.
Because it wasn't his fault. His team was crap. You know, that last season.
Even his last year, he got to the playoffs. Oh, in Tampa Bay, he still made the playoffs.
I know.
He still got a team to the playoffs.
And it was not very good.
No, that team stunk.
That line was pretty bad.
That team stunk. Whew. All right. We're fired up tonight on Sports Unfolded. If you haven't
we can't even get past the Patriots at this point.
Let's just do a whole Patriot show, because for hours. And then especially when Kenny's chiming in with the AFC champs. You still want to know what teams they're beating, Kenny.
Oh, well, he's going reverse order.
Oh, if you like Bob Uecker, if you turn this around and be in first place. Yeah, there we go.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Bob Uecker was awesome.
Oh, I loved him. You remember? What do you have? If you the seats, switch the stadium around, we'd be in the front row. Because he was all the way in the nosebleeds. He was awesome.
He's one of the best.
Ron, it is time for starting five, my friend. This starting five was by far the hardest one I think I've had to do so far. Players named Alexander.
Wait, now you're throwing in Al?
There's all Al, because Al is short for Alex or Alexander. It's the same thing. Don't even try it.
Oh, this is just wrong.
No, it isn't, because I know you did it that way. You just went
Al Bunbury, Al Horford.
I had Al Horford as an honorable mention.
See, I didn't do that because you and your rules. Oh, it's Dan, not Daniel.
We did Daniels. Jamie. No, you wanted to do. You changed the whole thing to. Nice try. Anyway, I am first this week, and I will give you my number 5, but I got to give you my honorable mentions because it's longer than my 5. This one, not because he's a great player, but I had to throw him in.
But that's why we were doing this.
As an honorable mention, Al Del Greco, the kicker. And you know why, Ron?
Yeah.
Born in Providence, Rhode Island. We got to give a Rhode Island kid in there. Born in Providence, Rhode Island, Al Del Greco.
Wait, can we get Al on the show?
I would love to get Al on the show. Al Del Greco, if you're watching Rhode Island Broadcasting, Sports Unfolded, we would love to have you on our show. Providence, I mean, we're from Rhode Island. Let's do this. Alexander McGillney, phenomenal hockey player, 473 goals, 559 assists. He won a cup. Al Horford, I put in there, 5 All-Stars, 13.4, 8.1 rebounds. Decent numbers. Al Simmons, man batted .334, 2,927 hits. He won 2 championships as well. Alex Smith, just the comeback, what he meant to that. When you saw that leg, you never thought that man would walk again.
I'm still reeling from this Al thing because Al is short for Allen.
That could be short for Alex.
No, it's not.
Alex, yeah.
No, it's not.
Yes.
No.
It is. Al Leiter. Al Leiter threw in there 162
Disgusting.
and 132, 2 championships. Al McGinnis, hockey, 340 goals, 934 assists,
I would have had him on my list.
plus 371, Ron. 1 cup, 7-time
I
All-Star.
know.
Alexander Potvin, boxer, 36-3-1, 7 goals, 2 championships. And my last
And he
honor,
changes the rules on me.
and then my last honorable mention, Alex Rodriguez did not make my starting 5.
I don't even have him on my list anywhere.
295, 696 home runs, 3,115 hits,
The heck with
14
him.
All-Stars, and 1 championship. Didn't make my list for my starting 5. Alex.
Only shot up steroids
So
at his career.
I figured you'd be a little like, wow, Eric, Alex Rodriguez, not in my top 5. Not in my top 5.
No, because I'm still
Oh,
griping
my
about the
goodness.
owl.
Oh, my goodness. Anyway,
Just saying.
at 5, Alex English, 21.5 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 8-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA, 1-time scoring champion.
And an actual Alex.
Alex. Okay, everybody, I got 1 Al in my top 5, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. So my honorable mentions are Alexander McGillney.
Yep.
I have Alex Arguello, boxer, 77-8 with 62 KOs.
Okay.
I also have Alex Smith.
Yep, Alex Smith I had. Yep.
He was actually a pretty good quarterback.
He was,
You know, when
he
you
was
really
decent.
look at it,
Yeah, he had good numbers.
199 touchdowns and 109 interceptions. I mean, that's
Yeah.
2 to 1.
Yeah, I think
Little less than that, but
35,000 yards passing.
yeah, but he was pretty good.
Yeah, he
you
was
know?
a good play. It wasn't bad.
And Alex Bregman, who 5 years from now he could actually be in this list.
Yeah, the Houston Astros.
Houston Astros, yes.
Yeah, very good.
Because he's
player.
only played 5 seasons, and it
Yeah.
feels like he's been around forever.
Yeah, no, he may well make this list at some point. So you're number 5, Ron.
So my number 5 is Alex Karras.
Okay.
You know, I looked at those numbers. Okay, defensive tackle, 161 games played. He had 100 sacks, but he was a disruptor. You know, and 4 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pro. This guy was good. He was really good. And going back to those days, what those 100 sacks is like somebody getting like 17, 18 in a season now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, agreed. Very good play. I know his name came up. At 4, Ron, Alex Ovechkin.
Oh, come on.
822 goals, 663. Sarah, thanks for joining us tonight. 663 assists, 12 All-Stars, 1 cup. That's kind of why he's a little further down. You'll see. I think I'm going to impress you with my list. I know I said it's going to be.
You're not going to impress me now.
I will. I guarantee you.
No.
Just wait, because there's better Alexes than Alex Ovechkin. He's a great player. I'm not saying that, but he 4th on my list this week.
Should not be
starting
4th.
Alex. Okay, go ahead.
But you also have an Al in there, so
1 Al, which you'll
I
see.
don't care. But you taking the main Al,
Okay, go ahead.
the main Al.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, number 4, I have Alex English. I think, he was fantastic. 21.5 points per game. You know, he went to 8 All-Star games. He was a scoring champ. So, and a 3-time All-NBA. He was pretty damn good, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Field goal percentage is 50.7. 50.7.
Nice. Very good player.
Great player.
At 3, we're at 3. I thought we were at 4. We're at 3. At 3, here's my 1 Al, and you're gonna get a kick out of his name. Old time ball player, Al Kaline, like the battery. Al Kaline.
It's Alkaline.
Kaline. Alkaline.
No,
like the battery.
Alkaline.
Like the battery.
No, it's not like a
Yes.
battery. It's K-Line.
Alkaline.
And I knew you were going to have him in there when you said the
Two-
only Al. He shouldn't be in there.
297, 399 home runs, 3,007 hits,
Hmm.
18 All-Stars, Ron,
And
10
you-
gold gloves. 10 gold gloves, one-time
Wait,
champion,
how many glow gloves?
10 gold gloves, one champ. And his number's retired. He's known as Mr. Tiger.
I know he is.
the Tiger. Alkaline.
Not an Alex.
Okay. That's my number
an
3.
Alex.
Who do you got at 2?
Wait, I got to give my number 3.
I'm skipping him. No, number 3.
Alex Del Vecchio. Yes. You don't even know who that is, right?
There we
Former
go.
Detroit Red Wing, 456 career goals, 825 assists. I mean, this guy won 3 Stanley Cups.
Nice. Good.
And this is back in the 50s and 60s before the scoring just got jacked up, you know?
Yeah.
So this is back in the day, and he was tremendous. What a great player this guy was.
So, number 3. Very good.
Number 3.
At number 2, I had Alexander. I'm going to probably say the name wrong. Karelin. He's an Olympic wrestler from Russia. 35 gold medals this man won.
Yeah, I didn't
2
get that
silvers.
one. That's impressive.
Dominated the sport for many, many years. He was like just gold throughout. He took Olympics, world championships. It didn't matter. One of the greatest wrestlers in the history, named Alex. At number 2, I told you.
No, that's a good one. I missed that.
I told you, buddy. I told you
Yeah.
I'm going to impress you here.
Yeah,
I know you
missed
didn't like
that
the Al
one,
thing,
and-
but I did a lot of research on this one because I was like, you're getting me every week, and I'm not going to let it happen again.
Yeah.
Number 2 for you?
Well, I mean, that one would have been probably my. Ooh, that's tough. That might
35
have probably.
gold
If I
medals.
would have caught that one, I probably would have had him at number 1, right?
See?
Because you know I love my
You love the
Olympians.
gold medals. You love Olympians, yes.
Right. So kudos to you. You get that one. You miss on the Al K line though. Miss.
Alkaline. Okay.
Miss.
No.
But my number 2.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Alex Morgan, and I got a feeling you got her at number 1. I got a feeling of that. But Alex Morgan, I struggled where to put her, whether it was 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So
I know who you're going one.
I mean, it's like a 1B.
Yeah.
You know,
see, I didn't know.
Look,
Like,
this is
Alex Morgan.
is
number
U.S.
1.
soccer. I mean,
Yes.
that team just spawned so many great, and I say great athletes. You know, ever since when we talked about Mia Hamm, right?
Yeah.
So ever since Mia Hamm exploded onto the scene, this women's soccer team has developed so many great athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, they have just completely dominated for a good chunk of years.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And, you know, when you look at, 4 times the CONCACAF Female Player of the Year,
Yeah.
1 Champions League championship, 2 World Cups,
Yeah.
3 times Women's Worlds, and 2 USSF Female Athlete of the Year.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. What?
60 goals in 27
And now that I
assists.
read that off, I really think she deserves to be number 1.
She is my number 1. My number 1. And again, I think again we saw things a little different, but I think Ovechkin's a
I don't think
phenomenal
we saw
player.
it that different.
No, but I think Ovechkin, honestly, he's the best player since Gretzky scoring wise.
Yes.
And so I could see
he's
why.
trying to break the record. I
Yeah.
find it hard to believe he's not.
Yeah. So I see why you probably got him at
Yeah, and
1,
I
is
put
what
him
I'm
there,
assuming.
but after I just reread
That's what I'm
that,
saying, dude. She was phenomenal.
She was
phenomenal.
She was.
And she still is phenomenal. So let's just Alex Morgan, great number 1.
But when it comes down to is like there were some great Alexes.
Yeah, this
and
was
I wish
tough.
I would have caught the wrestler. I'm surprised.
35 gold medals, Ron. 35.
That's incredible.
Hey, you think about it. You got to dominate. And the 2 times he lost, he got silver. Allen Iverson. No, we're doing Alex.
Yes.
Alex.
This is why I have a problem with Al.
No, because Al could be Alex.
No, it can't. It's not Alex K-Line. It's Alan K-Line.
Alkaline. Alkaline.
It's not.
It's a battery.
It's not.
Duracell should have picked this man up. It would have been beautiful. History in the making.
Yeah, could you imagine? The sponsors that would have came out of the woodwork? Energizer and Duracell would have paid a fortune for him.
That's what I'm saying, man. That would have been phenomenal. Kenny, I'm glad you're still with us. That was a great list, by the way.
It was a great list.
That was a good one.
It's like I look at a lot of these players and I'm like, I had a tough time like sorting all this out. And it's like, because I think highly of Alexander McGillney.
Yeah.
And for me to put another player ahead of him, other than Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah. And it was so tough because
that's incredible.
I had probably 40 guys, and as I'm crossing off, I'm still like, oh wait, I don't still have 5, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got to get 5, and I'm like, I don't know who else to cross off. It was really fun.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
So, it was a good list.
A lot of great players.
Between Alex Morgan, Alex Ovechkin, and what's the Russian's name? The wrestler?
Carolyn.
Carolyn?
Carolyn. Karelin. Carolyn.
Okay. So, I mean, I probably would have put him at number 1, to be honest
35 gold medals, dude. 2 times silver. He lost. When he lost, he was still the second best. It was still like,
yeah,
like it wasn't
35 tries. Yeah.
Man, that's phenomenal. But it is time to talk some NBA basketball. Kenny, my basketball guy, throwing out basketball names. We're going to throw out a name, and that's James Harden. He's requested a trade to the Los Angeles Clippers. Should the 76ers grant it?
You know what? I wouldn't. The heck with him.
Do you see him, though? Bring him up so you could see him in a Clippers uniform. That might change your mind.
I don't even want to bring him up.
Look at how good he looks.
I want to see his mug.
Look at that. He looks pretty good in a Clippers uniform. The other 2 guys that are with him don't usually play with the team. So it would just be a picture of James Harden because the other 2 would be injured anyway. But
look, I'm so tired of players saying, I want to go to this team. Well, you know what? You're not a free agent. So tough. I almost swore there.
Woo!
I almost swore. It's too freaking bad. You go where we can trade you because, frankly, you just made yourself untradeable. At least Damian Lillard has some skill left that he can still do what he does if he's healthy.
Listen, I agree. I wouldn't trade him. I would not trade him unless I'm getting something back that keeps me in contention.
For him.
Exactly, because the 2 guys that you could throw out at right now would be Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And if I'm going to say those 2, and let's just say they were around the block, I'm not taking them as a Sixer because I can't guarantee those guys are going to be on the court.
Yeah.
So that's not going to work. I don't want draft picks because guess what? I am a top contender in the East right now. Yeah. Getting draft picks isn't going to benefit me because I'm not rebuilding. No. I am a relevant team right now in the playoff hunt who has championship aspirations. And how do you trade a guy for nothing? So he's making this more difficult on himself.
Yeah, I'm at the point now where, when a player says he wants to go to a certain team and you just deemed yourself untradeable, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to trade you. I'm not going to give you that satisfaction. If you have a contract that doesn't have a trade clause, I'm sending you somewhere you're not going to want.
Yeah, and even think about the fans.
Yeah.
Philly's not an easy place to play anyway.
Oh, they're going to be all over him like kittens on popcorn.
Yeah. So I'm not making this trade. I'm not making this deal. I don't think there's anything that the Clippers are going to offer me that I want.
Oh, my God. I would laugh if they send him somewhere like Orlando. Oh, my God.
But what does Orlando have either? This is what I'm saying, though. There's not a lot of trades that they can make where it benefits them. Like if they were going Portland, like you switched him and Lillard, I'm okay with that.
So here's the thing. So if you want to trade, Harden. And he says, oh, I want to go to the Clippers. You're not going to get much for him anyway, right? So why not send him somewhere he absolutely doesn't want to go and trade him for almost nothing, get rid of the contract, and just there you go. You're in Orlando now.
Yeah, but then you're not a contender, and that to me is
no. But then
Philly's
you have
still
to
trying
go
to
out
win a
and get
championship.
player, and
that's
and I know
where it
that
gets
I
difficult.
understand that, but there comes a point in time where you just killed the team. What he's doing, asking to go to the Clippers, is killing the team's chance to do anything.
And this is what I'm saying. I don't understand why this is becoming a thing, where players are just like basically telling you where they want to go. Damian Lillard, I'm not going anywhere but Miami. Who are you?
Right.
Like at some point, listen.
It's infuriating. When you're a free agent, you have that opportunity. Don't sign a contract where you don't want to play. I mean, that's
you want
chance.
your $60 million. You're going to see the same thing with Jaylen Brown. He's going to sign that deal, and then the last 2 years when he's making $60-70 million, I want out of Boston. Nobody's taking that contract at that point.
No.
Sign a smaller contract, and then 3 years from now, say, hey, you know what? I want to go somewhere else. You can go anywhere you want. The reason they don't do that because they want their money and they want to go where they want to play. That's not how this works.
Right.
Not how it works. James Harden.
Look, I brought it up. Eric. This is reverse collusion, basically. The players are dictating where they're going to go, and they're all collaborating, and this is what happens. The league is a mess.
Horrible. NBA is horrible right now. When it comes to this, absolutely. Because, again, the players are basically dictating where they're going every year. Every year. It's not like you go once in a blue moon. It's every year now.
Yeah.
Even LeBron was like rumored, maybe he wants to leave LA. And, listen, you're 38 years old. Just finally finish your career somewhere and be done. Like, I don't understand why every other year you got to decide you're going to go somewhere else or do something else or be somewhere else.
Because he didn't win the championship.
But it's just like, I mean, I don't even know if they're going for rings anymore, though.
Chasing Jordan.
Yeah, but at least if you were doing that to win a ring, like to me, Boston's a top spot. Or, Denver's the top spot. Somebody that, has got so much talent. So I'm like, I'm going. I can't because they can't afford me. So realistically, you're not even chasing rings right now. Damian Lillard, you cannot tell me, thinks Miami's a better team than Boston.
Yeah, no, I mean.
But he'll go there because, again, he gets to play wherever. It's nice weather and, there's women and beautiful nightlife. I don't know. It's not because to win a ring. They're not chasing a ring anymore. Like before, when LeBron did it with Wade and Bosh, to me, they were chasing a ring. He wanted a ring, LeBron, very badly. They got together and they did it. That made at least some sense. Now you're seeing these guys. The Clippers are better than Philadelphia? Like, you're not chasing a ring. You're just trying to find the next spot you can basically dismantle because that's all he does. Every 2 years, he wants out of somewhere.
Look, if I'm the Clippers, I'm saying, you know what? I'm all set with Harden. Everywhere he goes, they lose. So why bother doing that? Why keep bringing in players that lose in the playoffs? I want to bring in a player that knows how to win in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. A man hasn't even won anything.
No.
And then you're trying to dictate where you're going to go like you're the best player in the league. You're not.
Then look how he played in the playoffs.
He's like when you're married and you ask your wife where do you want to go to dinner? I don't know. That's him. What team do you want to go to?
Yeah.
I'm not happy here now. I want to go somewhere else. Give it a rest.
He's never happy wherever he goes because he can't handle the criticism.
Kenny, you are soft tonight.
Losing.
Kenny is soft tonight. I'm done with Kenny tonight. He is soft today. What is wrong with you? He needs help. Yeah, he needs help figuring out in between right here how he's going to make it work in the playoffs and win a game. Joel Embiid is a top player in the NBA. He is on a top team in the NBA. You want to go to the Clippers to do what? Play with Kawhi for 5 games and Paul George for maybe 15 to 20 and then complain because you're going to lose there too? Give it a break, man. Stop making it easy for these guys. Sorry.
Wow,
you play
how's
with
that for an old team, huh? That's a team that would be long in the tooth.
Imagine that. Harden, Kawhi, and Paul George. Just like Durant, Irving, and Harden. We got to see what? 20 games with them combined in 2 years? Yeah, that's what I want. It's ridiculous. They're building super teams that aren't even teams. They don't play with each other.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I can't.
Oh,
Kenny,
I know.
Stop being soft tonight, Kenny. Stop it. Let's talk some Major League Baseball because Kenny pissed me off now, too. Everybody's pissing me off. Kenny, I'm not getting a Christmas card from you this year. I can already tell. I am done. Let's bring up this man because he's been the talk of Major League Baseball now for a couple of weeks. We've talked about him for several weeks. But what would you trade for Shohei Ohtani? If Ron was running an organization right now, what are you giving up to get Shohei Ohtani?
Nothing.
Wow. Okay. I didn't see
and you
that
know
one
why?
coming.
You know why, Eric? Because I'm thinking about this. Now, what it's going to cost is you're going to have to empty your farm system.
Absolutely.
And probably 2 players on a major league team because they're going to ask for a positional player and they're going to ask for a pitcher, right?
Because he's 2-1. Yep.
So I'm thinking, all right, logically, that is a dumb thing to do. So I'm just going to wait till the offseason, and I'm going to go hard at him as a free agent and give him every reason to sign with me without giving up a damn thing.
I 100% agree.
Team that signs goes after him and trades for him.
I couldn't say it better myself. So you're basically going to think about where he is right now. You're in Anaheim. You're with Mike Trout, who, when healthy, considered one of the best players in Major League Baseball. You have nothing else around you. So I'm going to trade for you, wipe out half of my team anyway. Basically, you'd have nothing around you, so you're not going to win anyway.
Yeah.
And then I got to hope that you re-sign with me for an astronomical amount of money, which means I can't bring in other players because I'm going to pay you $700 million.
Right.
Versus, to your point, keep what you got now, ride it out, and then say in the offseason, hey, you want $650 million? Here it is. But I still have X, Y, and Z that are on my team.
That's right.
That makes so much sense. And I think there's going to be a team that's going to be foolish enough to possibly do this, and then they're going to regret it because he's not going to re-sign with them.
Yeah. And wait till you hear my future prospects. That's all I got to say.
It's coming up next. I can't wait. Shohei Ohtani, though, is he getting traded? Do you think he's getting traded, Ron? Is it going to happen?
I do believe he is. I think the Angels were blowing smoke up of everybody's butt, saying they want to keep him, because you have to say that in case you do want to try to keep him. You know, if you don't get what you expect to get from other teams. So that's their saying, oh, we're keeping him. That's their cue to the other team saying, you better make it a good offer.
Yeah, I see.
And I'm telling you, I'm looking at some of these teams, and I'm like, there's no way they can do this. And, like, just taking the Red Sox, for instance. Okay, you have to you have to basically give up your farm system because they only have so many players that are top-notch, right? And then who are you going to give off of your team? So I'm guessing they're going to ask for Houck and Bello as pitchers. Okay. And then what? You're going to have to give them, some sort of another player. I mean, who are you going to give up? I mean, you can't give up Devers. There's nobody else.
Exactly.
Who are they going to want off the Red Sox?
And I was thinking this as a Yankee fan, okay? Young talent, Volpe, they think is going to be a solid player. He's not trade worthy of Ohtani. You want somebody, a young player you're going to build that. It's not going to help you.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to give up a top-notch.
Duran? You're going to trade Duran?
Like, this is what I'm saying. To me, you don't. Duran, baby. I'm hungry like a wolf. I am. I haven't eaten dinner yet. We got to do the show at a different time. I don't know. 6:00 is dinner time. Anyway. You start to look at things and just wonder when that team pulls that trigger in the back of their mind, how nervous you got to be sitting on the edge of your seat going, I hope this guy loves it here, because you already know there's going to be a team that's going to offer him something that you don't have.
Yeah.
If I'm Anaheim, I'm sitting back and saying, look, on the off season, unless Mike Trout has a no trade clause, I'm probably saying I'm going to sign Ohtani and trade Mike Trout to get some decent players to build around Ohtani. That to me makes sense. And that's maybe where Anaheim goes. I don't think they trade him necessarily. Maybe they try to move on from Mike Trout, which at that point he has some value to a team. You put him on a Baltimore who's in first place. All of a sudden now they got a superstar player too, right? Like, so that I could see something like that happening.
I think they're going to move both of them.
You think they're going to move on from both?
Yeah.
Be pretty interesting. We're going to have to see how that turns out. All right. You said I couldn't wait for it. So here it is. Future prospects. Basically, our future prospects is we take two future predictions that we've seen. They're not even predictions because we've seen them. We've gone into the future and we're bringing them back to you today. And we've had some wild ones. I think tonight I might really confuse you too, because I think we're both
wait. You haven't seen nothing yet.
I hope Kenny's still on for this one because Kenny's very soft tonight. And he may be, so this is the nurturing that I'm going to give you, Kenny, because my first number one future prospect, Ben Simmons, is going to return to his all-star form next season and lead the Brooklyn Nets to the playoffs. Ben Simmons is going to be the Ben Simmons of old that we knew. A triple-double threat each and every night. Ben Simmons. Kenny, I know you love that because you're soft tonight.
Isn't he getting traded?
I don't think nobody's touching that guy. He stinks. Oh, there's me.
All right, ready for this one?
I'm sitting.
All right, this is going to be the future prospect of all prospects.
Okay.
All right. So.
Now I've lost my mind. Now all of a sudden he's not soft. Why wouldn't you be excited about that, Kenny? Ben Simmons back, the Australian genius that he was. Nope.
Okay, so.
James Harden just needs help. But Ben Simmons didn't need help. Thank you.
Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, boy.
Part of a blockbuster deal.
Okay.
That will send Ohtani to the New York Yankees. Wait.
Go ahead.
Wait for it.
If this is Judge.
For Aaron Judge.
No, it's not going to happen. You're out.
I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
You're off your rocker.
Aaron Judge is going to go to the Angels, and that is going to be done because they are going to trade away Mike Trout. So that is all part of that deal. So Trout goes somewhere else. Then they pull the Ohtani for Aaron Judge and a couple of prospects.
If you can, Ron, can you just keep putting up that on the screen? You done lost your mind now. Your mind, because there's no way that happens.
Yeah, but you got to say it like Kenny.
You done lost your mind? I can't. Kenny's got style. I don't have that style. Kenny's got a little bit of swag to him. I don't have that swag.
You done lost your mind.
Why are you making him sound like he was in the Green Mile?
No, I was going for what's his face there, the singer. I can't think of his name now.
Oh, Barry White.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, you getting deep, like real deep. You done lost your mind.
All right. So anyway, that is my first.
Okay, you don't even waste your second because it's ridiculous. My number two, the best thing that has happened in the NFL, the Washington Commanders will make the playoffs this upcoming season under new ownership, and Dan Snyder will lose his ever-living mind. I can only hope that this story happens.
I actually agree with you.
I hope, because listen, the Giants are going to take a step back with no
they're
Barkley.
Going to be a terrible team,
right? So it's just Philly and Dallas, they can sneak in. They could sneak in.
Yeah, I think they
and
will
make the
because
playoffs.
the NFC is terrible.
And I just want to see the first person that interviews Dan Snyder saying, "Look, your team made the playoffs," and him lose his ever loving mind.
It's not my team.
I hate him. My God, the NFL. Here's some emails. You know,
It's rigged.
Here's the emails. Look at the emails.
Rigged.
I got the script. You remember
But
that's
I
been
do
a story.
agree with that one. I agree with that one.
Did you ever hear that story? There's been a story that the NFL's actually scripted. They know who's going to win. They plan it out during the season.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, Kenny agrees. The Commanders make the playoffs. They make the playoffs.
Yep.
Your future, you're number 2.
All right.
I can't wait for this because that first one was complete garbage.
Okay, so with all that being said about Ohtani for Judge, he ends up not liking it there, and signs. Wait, he's gonna sign with the New York Mets next season. New York Mets. They are going to open up their wallets, and he's going to make $850 million.
First of all, they already have opened up their wallets. How well that's worked out for him.
Yes, but they're going to trade them.
And secondly, he's staying West Coast. He's going. I would not be surprised. It's either the Dodgers or Seattle. Those are the 2 big ones.
Hey, don't leave out San Diego. I think they could trade Soto for him.
Yeah, Soto could be that's a move too. You see Soto move, Ohtani goes there. But again, does that really work for them? I don't know.
Well, you get a pitcher and a hitter.
Yeah, no, agreed. Yes, we always got to think of that. Got to think of that when it comes to Ohtani. You're getting 2 for 1.
Yeah,
2 for 1.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, this is what the best thing in baseball is right now. It's all Shohei Ohtani.
And this is what I'm saying. We were talking about it before we started the show. Like, we could talk some possible trade. Nobody cares.
Possibly
already.
He is really the big show. Hey.
Okay, here you go. Listen, let the wrestling stick to the wrestling shows. It doesn't matter. Podcast. Just join the Rhode Island Broadcasting. I think that's their gig.
Oh, the big show. Oh, okay,
yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, my friend. Let's talk some NHL. And there's a lot of talk. I guess the players' unions. They're talking about the NHL allowing the players back in the Olympics. Is this a wise decision for the NHL? Last time I think it was 2014.
Because it's going to tax the season as far as games played. I don't know. I see. To me, I don't care what they do with that. I mean, if the kids go to the Olympics, fine, so be it. Then the expectations are the expectations. But when the pro players go, I mean, then you're looking at Canada winning gold, right?
Pretty much. That's who won it in 2014. The last time the pros played was Canada.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care either way.
I think it's good for the NHL. So listen,
I think it's good for them too.
I was thinking about this, Ron. The NBA, when the Dream Team came about, yes, Michael Jordan had started this revolution in the NBA, right? And you started to see it pick up. But then you got average fans who don't normally watch basketball because it was the Olympics, really started to watch other sports. And think about where basketball grew worldwide.
Well, I know that.
And hockey's another worldwide sport. But what I'm saying is, I think the NHL could use this as a way to get NHL people who don't normally watch hockey to now possibly watch NHL hockey.
I get that, Eric. But the problem is, see, with the basketball, it was a summer sport in the Olympics.
Yeah, so
they're not really going at the same time.
Yeah.
The NHL, they're going at the same time during the season. So now you have to shut down the league for like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then the risk, the risk of getting injured is more in hockey than it is in basketball. I hate to say it, but that's the risk. And I'm sorry, would you want say Connor McDavid, Edmonton fans, would you want him in the Olympics and then he gets hurt in the Olympics and then
he can't play the rest of this
and then that's it,
season.
right?
Yeah. No, I could see it both ways. There's pluses and minuses
I
to
can
it.
take it or leave it. I mean, I'll take it if they're there.
I think I agree with you though that the fact that you got to stop the season
Right.
is a big factor because now you're just shutting everything down.
Yeah, because then you have to crunch the season back and forward in those times, and then there's no practice time for a lot of these players.
Practice.
Yeah, practice.
Not a game.
Practice. So I don't know.
All right.
I'd like to see the players there, but at the same time, not
stop backpedaling. Yes or no? Yes or no?
What?
Should they do it?
I don't think they should.
No? Okay.
I don't think they should.
All right. It's interesting. You're the hockey guy. I could see your point.
I mean, send the prospect.
but they could get hurt, walking down their stairs.
I know they can.
So that's what I'm saying. From the injury standpoint, I don't. Chris Sale riding a bike. You know what I mean? But so, I don't know.
Right. But I'm saying, okay, so why not send, the minor leagues?
Yeah.
The players that aren't on your current roster, on the parent club, send those players, and that gets them great experience. Plus, they are professional players now.
Yeah. No, good point. Good point. All right, it is time for our pick and roll.
It's time for pick and roll.
So tonight's pick and roll a little bit different. We're doing basically some of these top running backs. They've either signed their franchise tag, or they refuse to sign their tag, or they're free agents currently. But we have 5 running backs that currently are not signed to long-term deals. So we're basically looking at these 5 running backs. Which of the 5 would you sign as your number 1 for a long-term deal? And we're going to rank them from 5 to 1. And they are Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs, Ezekiel Elliott, and Dalvin Cook. I am first tonight, so I will start us off. At 5, I had Ezekiel Elliott. He's played in 103 games, 1,881 rushes for 8,262 yards, 4.4 yards per rush, 68 touchdowns, 305 receptions, 2,336 yards, and 12 touchdowns. But the man's got some mileage on him, right? 3-time Pro Bowl, 1-time All-Pro, was an offensive player of the Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year with PFWA and SN Rookie of the Year. Only had 876 yards last season, so you're already starting to see a decline. So a long-term deal, absolutely not. A 1-year, 2-year deal, I would do that with Ezekiel Elliott. That'd be it. This one surprised me, but then I went at 4, Dalvin Cook. So he's played 73 games, 1,282 yards rushing, 5,993 yards in total, 4.7 yards per rush, 47 touchdowns, 221 yards 221 receptions for 1,794 yards and 5 touchdowns. 4-time Pro Bowler, rushed for 1,173 yards last season. But the reason why I went there, again, of the next 3, he's also played the most games, and he's had the most rushes. So when we're talking about longevity, I feel like he's not going to be able to do what he's doing for 4 or 5 years. Whereas the next 3 guys, I feel, may give you a little bit more. We're talking long-term deal. So at 3, I went Josh Jacobs. 60 games, 1,072 rushes for 4,740 yards, 4.4 yards per rush, 40 touchdowns, 160 receptions, 1,152 receiving yards, no touchdowns, 2-time Pro Bowl, 1-time All-Pro. He was an Offensive Rookie of the Year. Last season, though, 1,653 yards rushing. They used him a lot. So that's why I kind of got in the middle of the ground, because I'm afraid they burnt him out last season. I think over 300 rushes in the season. He heavy usage already. So he's probably going to get hurt at some point in the next few years. But again, still, I think a little bit less than the other two guys. At 2, even though he's an injury concern, I still think he has a lot to offer. That was Saquon Barkley. I went 60 games, 958 yards rushing attempts for 4,249 yards in his career, 4.5 yards per rush, 29 touchdowns, 247 receptions, 1,820 yards, 8 touchdowns, 2-time Pro Bowler, Offensive Rookie of the Year for the AP and the PFWA, and SN Rookie of the Year, 1,312 yards last season. Benefit here, though, is I think he's going to hold out till week 10. So if I'm a team going to sign him, I'm saying, look, he's rested. He's not going to play more than 7 games next season, this upcoming season. That's a benefit to me because now I can see him for 4 years continuing to do what he does. But I put Tony Pollard at 1. And I put him at there because he's only had 510 rushing attempts, 2,616 yards, 5.1 yards per rush, 17 touchdowns, 121 receptions for 1,008 yards and 5 touchdowns, 1 Pro Bowl. Rushed for 1,000 yards last season, 1,007. But if you think about it, he was really the fill-in guy last year, and then he took and became what he was. Yes, he had an injury, but again, not a lot of mileage on this man. 500 attempts, almost half of what everybody has, or not 3 times. So to me, 5-year deal, Tony Pollard, I know he's going to be a productive back for me for 5 years. So that's how I went. That was my pick and roll.
It's pretty good.
Thank you, sir.
Pretty good. My number 5 was also Ezekiel Elliott. I cannot see him holding up
Agreed.
very long. He may have a good year this year, but then I think there's going to be a significant fall off. I think this year it'll be good strictly because of, leaving for a new team. Number 4, I also had Dalvin Cook for the same reason. Look, I think he's a hell of a player, and I would love the Patriots to sign him for 2 years.
Yeah, if he wants to do a $4 million with like $15 million in
2
incentives,
years.
Sure.
I'll back the truck up for him for 2 years. You know. Then from there, I went Josh Jacobs as well. I think he's a rising star, but again,
they beat him up.
The work, gonna stunt.
Yeah.
The longevity.
The longevity. Yeah.
And frankly, he doesn't have the 2 things I like from the 2 guys above him. And I think that's the grit. I love the grit from my number 2, which I have Tony Pollard.
Okay.
I remember at the beginning of the season, I thought he was going to be the guy in Dallas, and he did become that. I mean, he's a beast, and what he can bring to the table, he moves the sticks, and he can move a pile too.
Yeah. Listen, out of everybody here, 5.1 yards rushing for his
that's
career. He has
incredible.
the most. Yeah.
I love the numbers. I think Tony Pollard is the guy that I would like to have, except for number 1, I have Saquon Barkley. I just think he's so super talented. Injuries are always a concern for me. And I'm looking at Barkley and Pollard, and I'm thinking they both have the same risks. And I'm going to go with Barkley because if he can carry the Giants to the playoffs, he can carry anybody to the playoffs. Because you had Daniel Jones, and let me tell you, I don't know how many times I saw Daniel Jones with 150 yards.
Yeah.
No, thank you,
Kenny. Thank you, Kenny.
Put him on a team with a quarterback.
You,
Holy mackerel!
Imagine
him in Kansas City?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I am thinking next week's list. Let me know if you what you think of this. stars that moved on to other teams. So like Messi, what he did now with Miami, like a LeBron to Miami. We see which one we think was the biggest of all time. Tom Brady to Tampa Bay. You know what I mean? That might be that'd be a difficult list.
Yeah.
So that might be next week's. Stay tuned, fans out there. But Kenny, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
That would be a nice starting 5, to be honest with you.
That could be one too. Yeah.
Because then we can have a different list.
Yeah, different. Yeah, we could think about that. So, my friend, it is.
You don't even know where we're at.
KC. No, I know where we're at. I'm reading Kenny say Kansas City's they're the new Patriots. We gotta. That's what they are. They are the team that everybody's chasing right now. It is prediction time. A little bit of
Patrick Mahomes.
We had a little bit of a difficult week for the most part, but Kenny, you're still on, so we get your predictions this week. We're going to bring up that list and just show you where we're at.
We have to?
Ron, rough week for you, man. 2-6 last week. I picked up my 2 games that I lost the previous 2 weeks. But again, we're in the heart of it now. We're about halfway through the season.
Yeah.
So we've got a little more than halfway through. So, it's starting to get to that nitty-gritty time. But it's only 6 games. Anything can happen. Kenny, 3-2 last week. Manny rejoined and finally gave some picks in. 4-1 last week for Manny. So great week for Manny. But basically, if you're joining us live, you have an opportunity. Sarah, if you want to get in on this list as well, feel free to just give us your picks as we're calling them off. We start off with Major League Baseball. Tonight's series starts between the Dodgers and the Texas Rangers. That's a 3-game set. I am picking the Dodgers in this one in a sweep.
Yeah, I also picked the Dodgers. Look, I've said it, before. Texas is going to fall off, and this could be where we start seeing it. I just think Dodgers are way better.
Look at the Rays.
Every aspect.
We didn't even talk. The Rays out of first place. Baltimore Orioles are in first place in the AL East right now.
Yeah, I know.
That's insane. And the Yankees are in last. If anybody would have said that during the course of the year, I mean, that's crazy. Crazy talk. Ron, 7:24. We got the Cincinnati Reds at the Milwaukee Brewers. That, again, is to try to reclaim first place in the NL Central.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Brewers on this. I just think that their pitching staff is just a better all around. I still hate the fact that they gave up Hader. But
you're a hater.
Yeah, but I like the Brewers in this. I don't think Cincinnati's that good. They have one guy.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going with the underdog.
He's a good player, let me tell you.
I'm going with the underdog here because I feel like the Reds. I want this to be the story.
I go.
Baltimore Orioles
bitter from 75.
Hey, Baltimore Orioles versus the Cincinnati Reds in the World Series.
Oh my God, that would be brutal.
Wow.
Oh my God, could you imagine that?
Major League Baseball would absolutely probably shut down.
Oh my God, that would be the worst.
And this is where we may head at some point. So I got to root for it, man. I want to see chaos.
Oh my God, that would be brutal.
I'm that guy.
Nobody would watch it except for people in Cincinnati and Baltimore.
Yeah, pretty much.
And maybe not even them.
Yeah. July 25th, we've got the Connecticut Sun at the Dallas Wings NBA action. I got Connecticut here. I think they're a much better team.
Yes, I went with Connecticut as well. I'm a Connecticut Sun fan, to be honest with you.
Yeah, listen, I'm a Vegas.
I love the way they play.
Yeah, I like the Vegas Aces. I'm a Becky Hammond fan.
Yeah, I just love the way the Suns play.
Yeah, they're gritty.
The Sun,
they're a gritty team. The Sun,
not the Suns.
Not the Suns.
Not a Suns fan. I'm a Sun fan.
Kenny went against Connecticut. Look at Kenny. We haven't seen that much. Also, July 27th, you get the Atlanta Dream at the New York Liberty.
Oh, I'm going New York Liberty. I still think that they're the best team in the league, and when they hit their stride, you'll know.
I hope so, because I keep waiting, and they're kind of a little bit of a disappointment right now.
Yeah,
Vegas has rose to the top. Connecticut's been solid. I really thought the Liberty would just start to take off, and they're kind of like, So, but I went Liberty as well. I still think they're the better team, and they have the most talent.
This may sound really bad. They just don't have enough balls.
I can't. I cannot.
No, but it's the fact that you have all those stars.
They have too many stars. I know exactly what you were talking about, Ron. Kenny went with Liberty. Oh, look at he even did it. Emoji, Kenny. Good job.
There we go.
The Liberty. Put a little Lady Liberty on there. Great job, Kenny. Tonight.
And you spelled Liberty right too.
Tonight, Miami. So you got Cruz Azul at Inter Miami. Messi's debut.
Yeah, I mean, look, Messi is, to me, he's the best player in the world, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see
Miami's lost like
how much of a disparity, that the world is ahead of the United States
but this is not like this isn't MLS. This is Cruz Azul is
I know.
Like international team, so
I know.
Okay.
And I feel that Messi is going to have probably the game of his life right here.
Okay.
And I got him for 2 goals.
Okay. All right. So I'm assuming you're going Miami.
Oh yes.
I went Miami as well. Miami as well. I agree with you. I think he's going to come out and try to show. He's going to at least in this game.
He's going to show the world
But they're not even sure how much he's going to play, and I'm hoping they don't do that to the fans because that place is going to be packed. That they don't put him in.
Oh, they'll put him in.
Kenny went Miami as well. All right,
if they don't play him, could you imagine if they don't play him?
They'll play him. I just don't know.
People are gonna boycott.
I don't think he'll start, but I hope they don't wait till second half and put him in late. We got some racing NASCAR here. I know Kenny won't pick this one. He's not a NASCAR guy, but stay tuned because we got one more game after the NASCAR. 723, you got the highpoint.com 400. That's in the Poconos. We got to pick a top 5 driver. We're going for 4 straight weeks to get a top 5 driver. So if you're betting on NASCAR and you need a top 5 driver, where are your guys?
I had Ross Chastain last week, right?
You did.
And where did he finish?
23rd.
Okay. The chances of him finishing 23rd twice in a row?
Yeah.
Slim. So I'm going with Ross Chastain. I think he had just a bad week, and he's going to come back with a vengeance. And I even think he's going to win the race.
Okay, because I was going to say maybe he doesn't finish 23. Maybe he finishes below 23. That's a possibility too, Ron. Okay, he never finishes 23. It's like My Cousin Vinny with the train.
Did I just jinx him?
Yeah, the train. Do you remember that scene in My Cousin Vinny? And then the guy's like, "Oh yeah, you told me that train doesn't come through here at 3:00 in the morning." Yeah, normally it comes through. Oh no, 5. Normally it comes through at 3 a.m. So there you go. You just did it to the poor man. He never finishes 23rd. Yeah, he'll finish 24th. I went Denny Hamlin. I think, look, he's run this track well. He's finished the top 5 a few times. So I went Denny Hamlin. Tonight as well, World Cup. Women's World Cup kicks off. United States versus Vietnam. Megan Rapinoe, this is her farewell tour. Do anybody pick against USA on this?
Oh, hell no. I'm not going against this team.
Kenny, I know. I expect to see a United States flag coming up. Oh, Kenny, you had your chance, Kenny. Where's the flags, my friend? Where's the flags? USA, baby. It kicks off tonight, so 9:00, I believe. Check out World Cup action begins. The United States faces Vietnam. Ron, before we go into our final thoughts and how we end our show, can you tell all the wonderful people out there who would love to sponsor this amazing podcast how they can do so?
Sure. Of course I can. All right. So it's as easy as just sending an email to ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information you need to know, but the best information is how little it costs. It costs less than what you would spend at your local coffee establishment on a large coffee and a cinnamon powdered donut.
I just told you I'm hungry, and you're going to do that to me.
But no,
Now I can't.
absolutely. So we keep talking about a coffee establishment.
Yeah.
But like why not have one of these establishments start calling us and
You could do a pick. The pick and roll could be you pick your donut and you roll it.
Right. Exactly. And there's no holes in that theory.
Ron, if you don't mind, can you throw that ticker up so they can tell all the fans out there if they'd like to follow the show on social media, how they could do so? We're on so many different platforms on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, MeWe, Threads. There's not much we're not on right now. So if you are interested in following Sports Unfolded, following Rhode Island Broadcasting, a lot of great shows on Rhode Island Broadcasting, our podcasts. So if you don't have time to watch, you can listen. Just check us out. I guarantee you'll be hooked. Because
and Al Del Greco.
If you're out there, Al, somebody must know Al in Rhode Island. Tell him. Let's talk some sports with Al Del Greco. He was a great kicker. He really was. Houston Oilers, wasn't he? Houston Oilers back in the day. Right?
Yeah, wasn't he on Tennessee? Not Tennessee, Tampa Bay as well.
What the? Let's see. I'm gonna check that out right now.
I sworn he was on Tampa Bay as well. Back in the old uniforms, remember those?
Miami, Green Bay for a few years. Then he went to St. Louis / Phoenix Cardinals, and then Oilers, Houston Oilers, Tennessee Oilers to the Tennessee Titans for his last 9 years.
Oh, so maybe it was Green Bay I was thinking of.
So, I mean, phenomenal. 773 field goal percentage.
Yeah, he was
985 on his extra points.
Yeah.
1,584 career points scored. Al Del Greco. Check out Sports Unfolded. Somebody knows him. Check it. Tell him. Just email us. We'd love to have him on.
Al Del Greco.
Talk some NFL football. He could tell us some insiders. Tell us some things. Ron, normally how we end our show, we go through our final thoughts. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything sports related. It could be about anything going on in the world today. I am first, so I will start us off. And unfortunately, some sad news.
Oh.
Phenomenal. I knew you're going to have this one, and I beat you to it. Not that that's something to be proud of right now, because this man was a legend in the music industry, and that's Tony Bennett. Passed away today at the age of 96. Hits like Because of You and I Left My Heart in San Francisco. Such a distinctive voice. Like, you knew when you heard him, you knew it was Tony Bennett. And I can still remember Analyze This with Rob De Niro and Billy
Crystal.
Billy Crystal. And they did the scene at the end where De Niro had sent him to the house to sing on the lawn and everything else. Tony Bennett, one of the best to have done it. Such a great voice, such a long career. 96 years young, unfortunately, passed away today. Rest in peace, Tony Bennett. Our thoughts and prayers with your family as well.
Yeah, that was going to be mine.
Very sorry.
Look, I mean, it's 96 years of a voice that probably can never be duplicated again.
Agreed.
And he has stayed around pop music his whole entire career, including with Lady Gaga.
Yep. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the biggest legends of music ever. And, the world just got a little less talented, from this. And look, I mean, he started off really in New York, but he was known for that San Francisco.
Yeah.
When you think about the music he was around for so long.
Yeah.
Nobody's had a career like this. No one.
No, he
There
was
isn't
still relevant today.
anybody.
Yeah, he was still relevant. Like you said, Lady Gaga. Like,
I mean,
he was
I
still
heard,
doing-
what was it, like 28 Grammys or something like that? It was something ridiculous, right? I mean, this guy he's done it all.
Yeah.
And he's going to be missed. He's going to be missed by millions and millions of people. And, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. World lost a legend. I will say this as well, Ron. Let's make sure we support the United States women's soccer. They are trying to do something never done in history. Win 3 straight.
Yeah.
Neither side, men or women, have done it. This is the first legitimate shot that anybody's ever had because this team
It's gonna
is
happen.
loaded.
Mark my words.
Right? So go out, support, watch these games, support the United States women. They fought for equal pay. And you know what? I think they deserve it because I think they're some of the most talented women in this world.
I mean, some of the most talented athletes.
Athletes, yes. So let's support this. Let's get behind it. Let's USA start it off tonight. And Ron, I'll be watching. I
think of this one, Eric. Can you name 4 women Olympian soccer players?
Right.
Hope Solo. Mia.
Mia Rapinoe now, Alex Morgan.
Right.
I mean, there's been some great ones.
There's a lot of them, right? Can you name 4 men?
No. And they were fighting for equal. I'm like, come on, give these women that.
It's not even equal. They should be getting paid more.
Not even close. These women deserve some support. And I'm so proud of them. Let's represent this country and have a great tournament.
Absolutely.
And let's do something never to happen in the history of the World Cup. 3 straight. Make history, women. Make history. Good luck. Ron, it's been a pleasure tonight. Appreciate your time. Appreciate everybody that joined us live. Kenny, Sarah, you guys have been amazing. Thank you for taking some time out tonight. For those fans that are out there that are going to watch us afterwards, check us out. Follow us on all our social media platforms. Share this show. Donate bits and stars. Continue to support Sports Unfolded and Rhode Island Broadcasting. And if you're in Southeast Connecticut, public access, Channel 12, we are on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. If you're enjoying what you're watching and you're watching us live now, check us out live on Friday nights, and you can join in and get on those predictions. You can join our predictions and get more names on that chart because we're looking to fill that thing up before the end of the year. Ron, I will see you next Friday. I cannot wait. Hopefully we have some bigger stories. NFL training camps are opening. I'm sure some things will happen there. Major League Baseball trade deadline is right around the corner, so we may see some news as well.
What about a preview show for the NFL?
It's coming up. Yep, it should be August, end of August. Yeah, so we're about a month away, believe it or not. Wow, NFL season, so we're about a month away from that. So we will have an NFL preview show, an NBA preview show sometime in probably the end of September before the season starts. Kenny will definitely join us for both of those. And if you want to have some fun, just wait till Kenny joins us because I can't wait to these predictions because he's got the AFC champs, the New England Patriots. He already called it. So wait for that preview show. Ron, I will see you next Friday, my friend. Can't wait. Everybody out there, thank you. All we ever ask for every single week is peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.